Alright boys and girls, today is going to be a very cheeky day, okay? Today boys, we're going to talk about all the games that I played in the month of January, and I did play quite a few games. A good few of these games I did start playing in the month of December, but I just didn't have time to finish them. But yeah, we managed to get through quite a few. There is one game though guys that I don't really want to talk about, just because I've already talked about it before. It's a game I absolutely love, but I did play through it because it's just an absolute classic, and that is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. I've talked about this in another games I played, I can't remember which one it was, but it's a game I've talked about a million times anyway. I've spoken about how much I love Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. I just love the Tony Hawk series. I felt like playing it again. I beat it in a couple hours. It's not a long game. I do love it, but yeah, I've just talked about this one enough, so we won't talk about that. But yeah, with that said though boys, I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games to talk about, so quite a few here. I'll try to keep most of it short and sweet guys, because again, this will be like an hour-long video if I you know, ramble on too much. I'm sure there's a couple of games in here though that I will do a bit of rambling on, but yeah, most of these games is going to be quick. Okay then guys, we will start off with the one that I literally finished the most recently. I finished this game yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind, so I figured we'd start there, and that is Danganronpa 2. I absolutely adored this game guys. It was 10 out of 10. Now this is going to be a tricky one to talk about guys without having some spoilers, because it's basically a story game. Like, there's not a lot of gameplay in the Danganronpa series because they're visual novels, so it is going to be tricky to like talk about this one. But yeah, I'm going to try my best not to spoil it, because I want you guys to play this series. It is so good. So pretty much guys, the basic premise of these games is you've got a class full of kids that are all really good at something, okay? They're called ultimates, so they're ultimate at something. For example, I don't know, you might have the ultimate dick sucker, and that person is going to be the best at sucking dick.
What the fuck?
So yeah, all the kids in the class guys have got all these different talents, and they're basically grouped up, and they have to kind of kill each other and not get caught in order to leave the island. That's kind of how this story goes. Obviously there's a lot more twists and turns, it's not as simple as that, but that's basically all I can summarize without spoiling it. And yeah, this story just goes everywhere. It is absolutely crazy. Now I remember playing the very first Danganronpa guys a couple of years ago, and it's one of those games that I just bought completely blindly. I'm a really big like collector of the PS Vita. I absolutely adore this system. It's one of my absolute favorites, but I will admit it's kind of hard to collect for because there's not a lot of games for it, so it's one of those consoles I will almost buy anything. Danganronpa is a game that just wasn't that expensive. I think at the time it was like £15 or something, so it was a game that I bought purely just because it was a game on the Vita. I know nothing about it, I just knew it was a game that wasn't that expensive. I thought, you know what, we'll just grab it, and I started playing it pretty much straight away, and yeah, it blew me away guys. I went in completely blindly, I didn't know what to expect, but I adored every second of it. And I remember I just played it like a week straight and beat it, and it's not a short game, but I just couldn't turn it off guys. It was one of my favorite like experiences ever. So with the second one guys, my expectations were incredibly high. I knew what to expect this time around, I knew what I was getting myself into, and yeah, I expected big things here. And I will admit guys, like the first half of this game wasn't really blowing me away. It was still really good, there was some great twists in there, and I was really enjoying the game, but it was just more of the same of what I'd already experienced with the first game. But obviously with the first game I didn't know what to expect, so it was blowing me away, whereas this one I knew what to expect. So yeah, it wasn't really blowing me away at first. And in chapter 4 was good, but I really was not a fan of the class trial. I thought the class trial was horrendous. A lot of it was focused on the structure of this building, and again, it's hard to talk about this without spoiling it, but the structure of this building just kept changing like every time they talk about it, and it just made it really confusing, and I kept fucking up the class trial because they would just ask weird questions that just threw me off. Like there was this one point in the trial where they ask, where is the octagon, and they show you a picture of a bunch of little buildings, and I was like, I don't see a fucking octagon. I don't know. It was just like, it was just the whole chapter was super confusing to me. So yeah, I won't lie to you guys, I was a little bit underwhelmed by Danganronpa 2 with the first sort of 3 to 4 chapters. It wasn't bad, but it just wasn't as good as the first one for me. But then chapters 5 and 6 happen, and holy shit, chapters 5 and 6 blew my freaking mind. The first 4 chapters, guys, are pretty Bob standard. Like, again, there's some twists and turns in there, but it's not like anything you haven't seen from the first first game. But 5 and 6, fucking hell, man. There's twists, there's turns, the story goes fucking up here. It is, again, I can't spoil it, but holy shit, the last 2 chapters made this game from a good game, like a really good game, but it took it to another level. So yeah, on the whole, guys, I absolutely adored this game. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Even the first half of this game is still really good, but yeah, those final 2 chapters, wow, alright, they blew my mind. So I definitely recommend this, and just play this series because they're really good. I'm also very much looking forward to Danganronpa 3, which isn't the cheapest game, but I'm going to be buying it for the Vita because I love this series. Okay, guys, next up we have got a game that I just thought was really, really cool and relaxing. I really enjoyed this one, and that is Locoroco. So in terms of gameplay here, guys, very, very simple stuff, okay? You've got the 2 bumpers on the PSP, and you tilt the right hand to tilt the screen that way, and the balls move that way, and then you do it on the left side. Does that make sense? Very simple game. Like, that's literally all there is to this game. You're a ball, and you have to get these little potato-y things. I don't know what they are, just little balls. You suck them up, you become bigger, you get to the end of the level, Bob's your uncle. It does not get more simple than this. But the game, more than anything, guys, is just so chill and relaxing. The art style is awesome. It's just a really, really relaxing game. It's got a nice vibe to it. It's an incredibly easy game, guys. There's nothing really hard about this game, at least beating the game. I think 100% completion with this game might be a little bit tricky, but I just wanted to beat it. And yeah, it was just nice, guys. It was a nice game. There really isn't a lot to say about this one because it was so incredibly simple, but it was one of those games that I would just put it on for 10 minutes at a time. I wouldn't be playing this game for hours and hours and hours. Didn't overstay its welcome. It was cute, it was fun, it was cool, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, guys. It was a nice vibe. So yeah, if you've got yourself a PSP, guys, check this game out. It's like really cheap, and yeah, it was just a fun one, guys. A really, really fun one. Not a lot to say about it, but it was incredibly fun. Okay, guys, this next one is not quite as simple. I had fun with it, but there were moments where I wasn't having fun, okay? It's probably the game I spent the most time with this month, and that is Black Myth Wukong. So yeah, my relationship with this game was a little bit hit and miss. There were times I absolutely loved this game, and there were times I've never hated a game more. I just found this game very topsy-turvy, and one thing that really drove me crazy with this game is how people were telling me that I was being gaslit with this game, that people were telling me it's not that hard. Motherfucker, it is that hard, alright? This game was not easy, alright? I don't care what you say. I've beaten Sekiro 4 times. This game, I think, is harder.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more.
Yes, not every boss in this game is hard. There's some pretty easy bosses in this game, I won't lie. A lot of them are very doable, but the bosses in this game that are hard are retardedly hard. Like, they're just sadistic. The boss at the end of chapter 4, I think it was, with like the scorpion legs, that was horrible. That whole boss fight was so hard, and that's even with the special item. I can't remember what it was now. There's a special item you can find to make that boss way easier. It does make it easier, but it's still fucking really hard. The final boss is disgusting, alright, I don't care what you say. The final boss, I drove me absolutely mental. The boss at the end of even chapter 1 was fucking ridiculously hard. Like, there are some horrible, horrible bosses in this game. Now, most of them can be made easier with certain items you find in this game, which is pretty cool. Like, a lot of them, like, they have a weakness, like, and they'll just be items that can exploit those weaknesses, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, fucking hell, some of those bosses are still ridiculous. Yeah, above this game being hard, guys, I did find it mostly just quite exhausting, because it just never gives you a break. You are just fighting boss after boss after boss after boss. There is no breathing room in this game at all. I don't know how many bosses I fought in it, but it was, I mean, yeah, it was like 50 plus hours of just endless bosses. But as soon as you beat one and you think, yes, finally beat that boss, 2 minutes later you have to fight someone again. It is very exhausting, and it really burnt me out, honestly. A lot of the reason I was playing games like Locoroco this month is because of games like this. Alright, I needed something that was chill and relaxing after having sessions with this one. I don't know how people can just endlessly play difficult games. Like, I see Twitch streamers just playing Soulsborne games back to back to back. I don't know how you guys do it. I can play a hard game, guys, but I need a big break from a hard game after I beat it. Like, I remember when I beat Cuphead, I didn't want to touch another hard game again for a while, and that's just kind of how I am. I don't like continuously playing hard games. I like 90% of my games to be easy, and then I'll play the, 10% of them hard, like some old retro games that are kicking my ass. I can't be just playing them back to back. Anyway, long story short, guys, I did enjoy Black Myth Wukong. It was a very fulfilling game. It was amazing to finally beat it. But fucking hell, man, it was not easy. It was not an easy experience. And yeah, it's not one that I'll be revisiting anytime soon because of how hard it was. It was still good though. So yeah, if you want a challenge, I do recommend it. Okay, guys, this next one here was a game that I bought ages ago. I can't remember when I bought it. It was... I think, you know what, I do remember actually, it was not last year, it was the year before last, it was 2023, and it was when I went to the cinema to see Godzilla vs. Kong, is it Godzilla, or Godzilla X Kong, or whatever it was called. I'll be honest, I didn't really like that movie that much. It disappointed the crap out of me, because it just felt like a King Kong movie, and I'm a Godzilla fanboy, I don't really care for King Kong that much. I felt like there was way too much King Kong and not enough Godzilla. Anyway, you guys don't care about that, but anyway, I picked this up at CEX on the same day, and the title was a bit weird here. It's called Azure Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack.
Excuse me, the fuck did you just say?
Basically, it's got 2 games in one. There's 2 games in here. I only played the first one, but wow, what an amazingly fun game this was. It's kind of like a run and gun platformer type game. It's got a very anime style to it, like the character models are very anime type, and yeah, it's just a really fun game, guys. It's got a very unique spin on the run and gun like genre, because unlike a lot of run and guns where you just shoot the enemies, you kind of tag enemies in this game. You hit them with like little pins, and then you can electrocute those pins. It's really, really cool and just surprisingly addictive. It's one of those games, guys, that was very easy to like play and beat, but in order to master this game would take a lot of practice, and it's one of those games that I imagine people just replay over and over and over again to get better at. I just beat the game and I just cleared all the stages. I wasn't going for S ranks on all the levels, but you know, I could definitely see myself doing it one day because of how fun it was. Yeah, it's one of those games, guys, I don't have a lot to say about it because it was pretty simple. It was just going through the levels, electrocuted everyone, and then you get to the end and you fight bosses. The bosses aren't too hard. It's not a massively difficult game. Couple of difficult stages in here, like Babel was a pretty hard stage if anyone's played this game. That one wasn't the easiest. The final stage, like the final boss, was, I mean, I wouldn't call it super difficult, but it took me a few tries. But yeah, it was just a fun game, guys, and I'm really looking forward to playing the second one because, like I said, this does come with a couple of games on it. Okay, guys, we've got 3 games left to talk about, so we might as well talk about this one. This is a super hard game as well, guys. I played this game and Black Myth Wukong at the same time. A bad idea, but I was misled. I was told that they weren't as hard as they actually were. I googled whether or not this game was like super hard, and the response on Google was, it's not that hard, you know, it's kind of tough, but it's fair. Nah, this game was fucking hard. Liar! Anyway, the game is Valfaris. See, I was playing these games together, guys, and fucking hell, man, I just was stressing the whole time, alright? Because I'd get done playing that and having a hard time, and then I'd play this one and have an equally hard time. It just, yeah, I couldn't have picked worse time. I should have played that one, and then like a couple months later played that. That's how I should have done it. Anyway, guys, the reason I wanted to play this was because I just loved the look of it. Like, I just like the look of the art style. It's very retro inspired, and yeah, I gotta admit, like, in terms of looks and visuals, holy moly, this game looks fucking cool. It sounds really cool as well, okay? It's got very metal, you know, like soundtrack to it. It's really, really cool soundtrack. It's very gory as well. There's a lot of blood in this game. Just awesome. Everything aesthetically about this game is 10 out of 10. But like I said, it's hard, alright? This is not an easy game. Similar to this game, guys, there's a lot of bosses, okay? There's a lot of bosses in this game. Most of them aren't too bad. Like, you can beat most of them after a few tries, but there's some bloody tough ones, guys. The final boss in this game, it took me a few hours, okay, and they weren't fun hours, guys. I was just ready to finish this game. And the thing is, as well, is if you are good at this game, you could probably beat it in like 4 hours, but I think this game took me like 11 or 12 hours just because I just kept dying over and over and over again on certain bosses. However, guys, unlike Black Myth Wukong, I actually can see myself revisiting this one, maybe, I wouldn't say soon, but definitely sooner, because I did feel like by the time I'd finished the game, I had gotten a lot better. Like, a lot of the bosses that I did struggle with, I think I could do a lot easier in the second and third playthroughs. With Black Myth Wukong, I don't think this game is going to get easier. I mean, it will probably a little bit, but I still think I'll struggle with 90% of the bosses that I struggled with, you know? Whereas this, I feel like other than the final boss, I could probably beat most of them quite easily now. So yeah, it is a hard game, guys, but it's visually really cool. I definitely recommend it if you're into that sort of 2D art style, you know, that retro-inspired stuff. Yeah, really gory game, like just a lot of blood, and just awesome stuff. you know, with this game. Not a lot to say again, because it is pretty simple. It's a run and gun shooter, but yeah, I'm sure I've shown you some gameplay on screen. Just really cool, but hard. Okay, guys, 2 games remaining. This next one, honestly, it's probably the least favorite game I played this month. It really, I mean, I haven't finished it yet. I'm still playing through it, but I finished, like, I'd probably say I'm about 2/3 of the way through. It ain't great, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, the game is Turok. So yeah, this is a game that I got a good few years ago now. It's probably about 4 years ago. I found it at a car boot sale in this nice little steelbook. I don't have too many steelbooks, but this was like £1 or something. So I was like, yeah, I'll have that for £1. But yeah, I wanted to play this, guys, because apparently there's a new Turok game coming out, and I've never played a Turok game, and this is the only Turok game I've got in my collection. So I thought, hell, let's give it a go. It looks fun. I like the back cover. It just looks like a pretty mindless FPS shooter, and that's exactly what this is, guys. It is as mindless as it gets. Story is just a bunch of military men with big muscles and big guns, and they go around shooting dinosaurs. That's pretty much how it goes, which, you know, is fine by me, I suppose. When it comes to gameplay, guys, it's the same thing. You play as big muscle men with big guns shooting dinosaurs and people. It's okay. It's just not a lot to it, guys. It's very basic. What you see is what you get. You literally go around shooting dinosaurs and people. It's just really, I don't know. There's just, I don't know. It's not bad. Like, it's not horrendous or anything, but I don't know. I just thought there'd be a bit more, I don't know, I thought it'd be a bit more exhilarating, because you're shooting bloody dinosaurs, for goodness sake. Like, that shit should be either really intense and scary or really exciting. Like, it shouldn't be just and that's kind of what this is. It's just a bit
Mediocre.
Mediocre.
Yeah, G.
Bro, chill out, bro.
When you kill dinosaurs in this game, you just don't really feel anything, you know? It's like playing a, I don't know, a Call of Duty campaign, you know, when you kill a person in that. It's just kind of like, yeah, cool, alright, let's move on. Like, and it's not an insult to COD campaigns, because some of them are really good. But anyway, you get my point. When you kill a dinosaur in this game, it should feel a little bit more exciting and adrenaline-filled, and it just isn't. Even when you fight the bigger, like, dinosaurs in this game, like the T-Rex, and, you know, it's just, I mean, there's nothing to him. He's just spongy. That's the difference here. Like, he's not hard, he's not intense or anything, he's just spongier. It just took more bullets. Yeah, it's just a bit, So yeah, on the whole, guys, Turok, it's not bad, it's just not great. I just expected a little bit more excitement, you know? I'm killing dinosaurs, and it just didn't quite deliver for me, so I'm hoping this new Turok game is a little bit better. Okay, guys, our final game is an absolute bloody banger. I loved every second of this one, and that is Ratchet and Clank for the PS2. Oh, this might be, I mean, I think it might be. This might be my favourite game I played this month. It's probably between these 3 right here, guys. I mean, this was amazing, that Striker Pack game. Obviously, Danganronpa. Yeah, probably Danganronpa 2 actually just edges it, but this was right up there. So yeah, I've played a few Ratchet and Clank games before, guys, but not too many. I've had a little dabble with Size Matters on PSP, but never finished it. And I played the PS4 one, which I really liked, and the PS5 one, which I liked quite a bit as well. But yeah, this was great, guys. I really enjoyed it. It's very different, though, to that PS4 one. I kind of expected it to be super similar, but no, they're pretty different. There's definitely more planets in this one than there is on the PS4 one, and there's definitely a bit more emphasis on exploration than in the PS4 one. The PS4 one is very action heavy from what I can remember, lots of killing, and it's super fun. I really enjoyed that. With this one, I don't know, there's just a bit more exploration with the planets. Also, the PS4 one just removed certain things, and I'm not really too sure why, like, and some really cool things as well. Like, they removed Giant Clank, because there's like levels in this game where you basically get to play as a giant version of Clank, which is the coolest thing ever. So why the PS4 one like removed that, I don't know. It's not a perfect game though, guys. As far as I can tell, there's no strafing in this game, which is a big thing with Ratchet and Clank, and I don't think this game had it unless I just missed it, but I don't think there's any way of strafing, so the camera can be a little bit clunky to shoot and stuff like that, whereas in the newer games, obviously it's a lot easier, so that wasn't ideal. Also, the final boss battle in this game was, oh, it was awful. I hated the final boss in this game. It's not necessarily a difficult boss, but it's just a bit of a chore. Like, it was a super long fight, and he doesn't have a lot of weapons that are actually effective against him. Like, you can't use certain weapons against him very well. So, for example, I don't know, the flamethrower is just absolutely useless against him. So, yeah, you have to get ammo in that fight, and it just makes it so tedious and long. And in the end, I kind of just gave up because I just couldn't fucking figure out the final boss. So I started looking up on YouTube on how to do it, and everyone had this, like, ridiculous gun. I think it's called, like, the Rhino gun. And I was like, okay, I'll just just go buy that gun. And I found out it was like 150,000 fucking bolts. I was like, what the hell?
Come back when you're a little, richer.
I had maybe 20,000 bolts at that point, so I was like, well, how the fuck am I gonna get another 130k? So I look up how to like farm bolts, and every single video telling me how to do it was basically showing me a glitch that I needed to expose. So I did it, guys. I used a glitch to basically get infinite bolts, which I feel a little bit scummy towards doing, but 150,000 bolts is crazy. Anyway, basically what you do, guys, is you manage to like glitch your way onto this like it's like a racetrack, and the way that racetracks work is that the boxes, they're like they respawn instantly basically, and there's a way that you can kind of just farm by holding down the circle button with a certain gun, and you just get like absorbing bolts the whole time, so you've got to be holding circle the entire time. Unfortunately, guys, it's a super slow process, like you have to be doing it for fucking ages, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, if you basically hold it down, you will just keep racking up the bolts. But I'm not just gonna sit there holding down circle all fucking night. So what I did is I lent my PS2 controller in a way that it was touching the circle button, and I left it there all night, woke up in the morning, and I had 300,000 bolts. I thought, perfect, I can buy the gun and finish this game. And the Rhino gun, guys, was just a joke of a gun. I mean, I killed him in seconds. It was like a minute long, the boss fight, after I got this gun. So yeah, that was a bit of a game changer. So yeah, the final boss kind of sucks because I shouldn't have had to have done what I had to do in order to beat it, but it was annoying. It wasn't hard, like he wasn't difficult, you need a lot of ammo to kill him, and yeah, it was a long and tedious fight, so wasn't a massive fan of that. Anyway, that aside, guys, I love the game, I love the different planets, I like the story, I like the characters. I felt like Ratchet was pretty edgy in this game, which I liked, and that's one thing I'm not a big fan of with the newer Ratchet and Clank games, especially Rift Apart. I just felt like, some people disagree with this, but I just feel like, I don't know, I like this edgy vibe that he has in this one. He's kind of a little bit of a dick, honestly, but I like that personally a bit more. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much all my thoughts on Ratchet and Clank. Awesome game, thoroughly recommend it, and I cannot wait for Ratchet and Clank 2 on PS2. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, guys, that is all of the games that I played in the month of January. Overall, I played quite a bit, guys, and it was a nice variety as well, so we got quite a bit of gaming done, but we're going to do a lot more in February, guys, do not worry. I think I'm going to have a little bit of a retro month, because I feel like I've been abandoning my retro systems. I'm still obviously playing a lot of PS2, but I want to go back to like PS1 and play that a bit more, so next month there's going to be a lot of PS1. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know of some games you played in the month of January, and other than that, boys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, peace.